I finally tried playing Raid Shadow Legends, and what I'm about to share with you are my thoughts after playing it for a couple of days and beating the whole story mode. This will be part 1 of a 2-part video. My first impression of Raid is that it is quite similar to Seven Knights, or somewhat close to Epic 7 if you need a much more popular title. There is a huge focus on dungeons, raid bosses, and player versus player content. There's a lot of champions, and building each of them takes a lot of time. The core gameplay is more about team building and focusing on your champion's synergies. Progression feels like it doesn't stop because there are tons of ways to strengthen your whole roster. Currently, Raid is running one of its biggest events to date called the Asgard Divide. It is a massive update that features 4 legendary champions from Norse mythology. I think they have a promotional video for it, so let's check that out. This is my first time watching a promo video from Raid, and I gotta say, the production quality seems high.
Please, let's not resort to violence. Very well, so violence it is.
Loki seems to be just pawning all these noobs. Surely he would be just as strong in the game, right?
Existing only to fight their battles. Send them my regards.
Loki, this is madness. Stop.
Let us usher Temeria into a new era.
If I'm guessing correctly, that final clip was Odin. So, the new Norse mythological champions are Loki, Thor, Freya, and Odin. You can collect them through the whole Asgard Divide event, which runs from August 21st to November 22nd. They are Raid's unique take on the familiar figures from Norse mythology, casting them as members of the mysterious and powerful Fae that are present in the world of Teleria. What's crazy is you can get Loki the Deceiver for free, a legendary champion rarity. You simply need to log in into Raid for 7 days between now and October 23rd. Players can then log in for an additional 7 days after that to earn even more rewards, and access a second phase of rewards once the 14 days of login bonuses have been earned. These rewards are surely to make your Loki become more powerful. You can get the other 3 Norse mythology champions through in-game activities. To summarize what these champions do, Loki the Deceiver is a master of chaos and mischief, who can evade enemy attacks and cloak himself under the perfect veil buff. Thor Feyhammer is the harbinger of the storm who deals incredible damage to his opponents, and uses the brand new Thunder counter to deal powerful AoE damage. Odin Feyfather is the lord of the Mountain Hall of Asgard. He has access to the Berserk debuff, which increases the damage a target takes and deals out. He can steal enemy buffs, revive his allies, and deal crazy single-target damage. Freya Fateweaver is the golden defender of Asgard. Freya protects her allies with buffs to their defense, impenetrable shields, and the ability to prevent the death of the ally with the highest critical damage. As part of the Asgard Divide, players can enter a time-limited dungeon where you can fight a boss connected to the current event. You will be fighting Odin Feyfather, and get very useful relics if you win. Get a huge head start with a free legendary champion, Sun Wukong, also known as the Monkey King from Chinese mythology and folklore. The first step is to download the game through my link and use the promo code Monkey King to get your Sun Wukong. Note that the promo code only works if you are a new player who used my download link in the description. Keep in mind that the promo code will only be available for 72 hours after your registration. Once you unlock the clan system, you can join my clan so we can beat raid bosses together. The clan name is shown on the screen. Now let's talk about my gameplay experience. At the start of the game, you'll be given the option to pick 1 out of 4 champions. I picked Elhain because of what happened right at the beginning of the story. I won't be giving any details because I think you should just see it for yourself. It was pretty funny. Early game isn't hard, so I just auto-battled pretty much everything. On a side note, you'll be playing mostly on auto, so I think some players would like that feature, and unfortunately, some won't. After clearing the first chapter, you'll be given your first support called War Priest. She has a small chance to freeze enemies when she attacks, boosts the attack of the team, and offers minor healing. I used her immediately and teamed her with my main champion to duo clear stages. Clearing story stages with just 2 champions allows you to get a full 3-star clear. More stars, more rewards. Before doing the final stage of Chapter 3, I decided to do some summons. I wanted to see which champion I will get with my first ancient shard. I got a dark elf named Delver. Her kit seems to focus on making the enemy receive more damage by weakening them and reducing their defense. She can also apply heal reduction through her basic attack, which I found useful later on due to a dungeon boss that heals their max HP by 50% for every turn. After repeatedly clearing story stages, leveling my champions, farming for gears and materials, I finally reached Chapter 7. This is where my team lost for the first time. After looking for ways to improve my team, I remembered that I still yet to claim my free son Wukong. As soon as I got my free son Wukong, I maxed his levels, gave him some leftover gears, and tried him on arena and story mode. Based on Sun Wukong's kit, he seems to be more specialized towards PvP. His aura alone gives the team a speed boost when fighting in the arena. Basic attack has 25% chance of inflicting a 1-turn stun, and the chance increases to 50% if the target has any buffs. Weirdly enough, this is counter-synergistic with his AoE attack, which steals buff from all enemies, then inflicts a buff block for 2 turns that prevents affected targets from receiving buffs. I mean, just think about it. If he steals the enemy's buffs and makes them unable to buff themselves, he won't get the extra debuff chance for his basic attacks. His single target ability ignores 50% of the target's defense. If the target is killed, Sun Wukong attacks all remaining enemies. This attack also ignores 50% of the target's defense, but cannot land a critical hit. Not being able to land critical hits means Sun Wukong is not great with a critical build. However, if the target survives, they will be turned into a sheep for 1 turn. Turning into a sheep places restrictions onto the target affected. Lastly, Sun Wukong's passive automatically revives him after 3 turns from his death. He will need to be ascended 3 times before he can gain this new ability. Having him in my team allowed me to increase a couple of ranks in the arena. I'm not entirely familiar with the current arena meta, but I think that being able to act before the enemy is quite important. Therefore, his aura that increases the whole team's speed is very useful. Although I realized soon that it won't always be the case, as there are champions that can fully revive the team and make a strong comeback. Still, having Sun Wukong greatly helped. Same thing can be said about the story mode. Sun Wukong can make quick work of the trash mobs with his AoE attacks. Naturally, a legendary champion also scales pretty well against early game content. I was stuck on this boss previously, but easily passed it as soon as Sun Wukong joined my team. From there, it was a breeze, and I managed to beat the final story. Overall, the experience wasn't bad. I could have definitely beaten the whole story much earlier if I just didn't make bad investment decisions. But hey, I tried the game without looking up guides so I can experience the game in full. I think if you enjoy team building, Raid might be for you. The game seems to allow a ton of different team compositions, and there's heavy customization when building your champions. It totally reminds me of my experience playing 7 Knights. And that wraps it up. Raid Shadow Legends has more than 4 million users and 250 million downloads in total. 800 plus champions, 16 factions, and 30 plus unique bosses. There's a million possible combinations and builds. Consistent monthly updates and high store reviews. Raid is cross-platform, meaning you can play anywhere with your friends, family, and your clan. Click my link in the description or scan my QR code to get your first legendary Loki the Deceiver champion for free simply by logging in. After downloading with my link, don't forget to use the promo code MONKEYKING to get a second legendary champion, Sun Wukong, for free. This promo code will be available only within the first 72 hours of registering, so be fast. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you on the next one.